Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back to another episode of FDR Logging. And if you haven't noticed, I am FDR. Well, people call me FDR. My real name is Jordan, but for some reason, I guess I'm FDR. Franklin D. Roosevelt. That's the only competitor I have on the internet. But yes, I am FDR, and we're logging. So on these episodes, if you're a new-time listener that has never... Actually, you know what? We're going to switch sides here. If you're a new-time listener who doesn't know what this is, I'm basically logging with equipment that I've made, and we're talking about all kinds of random stuff. Just absolutely crazy random things that have nothing particularly related to do with logging or any other particular thing, just whatever we want. So today I thought it'd be fun to talk about ghost stories. Duh. Not goat stories, that's a totally different topic. Ghost stories, ghosts. So, depending on your level of belief in ghosts and supernatural and that kind of fun stuff, I thought this would be a fun subject to touch on. Ghosts. And honestly, I think it's going to create some interesting comments from people. So, ghost stories. Do you believe in ghosts? Do you think they're real? Do you think ghosts are a thing? Spirits, supernatural events, strange, unknowing, mysterious supernaturals. I haven't really had any experiences in my life that I would consider to be ghostly. I've definitely had like eerie feelings being in weird places or being in weird situations or coming across dark, creepy alleyways and just getting that vibe of like, you know what, let's just not go down there. I think that's more of a survival vibe. You know, it's probably best to avoid creepy, dark alleyways as best you can whenever you can. Man, I'm trying to think ghost stories. So I can tell you, in my childhood, I had the strangest experience. I've actually had a few strange experiences when I was a child, but we lived out in a rural countryside. Not really people around, kind of like all by yourself, kind of in a farmy type community where there's houses are, you know, many tens of hundreds of kilometers apart from one another before you see another house. So, living out there, I remember when I was a child, I once, and I don't know, like I was so young, this could have been just me having a dream and thinking it was reality, but I was convinced that E.T., you know, the character E.T., extraterrestrial from the show where he's, you know, the alien comes to Earth in the little basket, I was absolutely 100% convinced that E.T. was buried under a bunch of stuff in my closet. And I swear it was real. And I'm sure it was a dream because I was just this kid having weird dreams probably. But I was 100% convinced of that. And I woke up, or I got out of bed, I don't even know. And I started ripping through the closet, tearing all the stuff out because I was sure he was in there. But it was the most bizarre, like, real feeling. And I mean, again, I was a kid, so maybe I'm over-exaggerating. My memory is over-exaggerating it, but that's got to be the closest experience to like an eerie, ghosty feeling for me because I was like, man, I was sure that was a thing. I was sure E.T. was in there. Certain of it. But I had yet to find him. I didn't find E.T. And now that I'm older, my memory is probably like Swiss cheese compared to what it used to be. So if I recalled it at a younger age, it probably would have made more sense that it was a dream, but oops, did we smoke that tree? Oh no. Yeah, well, we did get it. She's coming down. Oh. It sucks when you get the trees too close together. So yeah, wild times. Wild times as a child. My parents, to this day, are still convinced that they saw a flying tree. Well, that's kind of related to logging. They swear to this day that they saw a tree flying next to them while they were driving down an old logging road. My parents used to go into the bush and they would pick pine mushrooms, which was like a really popular thing back in the day. Back in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, into the 2000s. It was a very highly profitable thing to go pick mushrooms and sell them. And Yeah, they did that. So they're coming home late one night on this old logging road, and they swore that there was this tree, like a I don't know if it was a full-length tree or a process tree or what it was, but a tree flying alongside the vehicle with them. And my dad was like, or maybe it was my uncle, my mom, either one, they were like, well, we thought maybe like a helicopter was carrying it or something, but then they like opened the windows of the car and slowed down, and they couldn't hear any helicopters, they couldn't hear any weird noises, no nothing, but yet this one single tree was just alongside the vehicle going for the ride with them. And of course, me being skeptical that I am, I was like, well, what were you guys smoking? You know, like what was the did you guys ever indulge in any after hours materials to make the nights a little smoother there, and maybe you were puffing the wrong smoke or something, or maybe there was an exhaust leak in the cab that you guys weren't aware of or something. You never know, right? But yeah, they were very, very convinced that that was going on, which is kind of crazy. And I mean, I've heard random things from friends, you know, saying like they went into old houses and heard banging and knocking on windows and weird sounds and stuff like that, but nothing really like convincing, just kind of like, oh yeah, well, you know, things happen. Again, like I've been to certain spots in my life where I've seen them and I'm like, oh man, this is kind of a sketchy looking area. And you kind of get that like survival instinct feeling of just, oh man, like I don't want to be here. This is bad, like a bad feeling. But I don't think that's necessarily like, oh, I'm experiencing the feeling of ghosts around me. I think it's legitimately, I think it's legitimately just your body being like, okay, there could be something in there that could attack you and you can't see it, so be scared of that thing, whatever it is. You know, that would make more sense to me anyway. Here, I'm gonna try to keep up with our processing here as we go. But yeah, that's kind of a weird one. I'm actually interested to hear if you guys have any ghost stories in the comments. I should really start doing these live streams of these, because man, you could get stuff on the live and I could read it out. Probably be a little bit more fun. I should try to start doing those. Maybe we'll slowly start to warp the FDR logging series into a live series, where I just do these kind of long, convoluted episodes and we just talk to people and read comments out. That'd probably be more interesting. We'll see. We'll see if I can pull it off. Oops. We don't want to cut that small. I think we'll do longs on this end. I can't see my length, though. If I turn off the mulcher, I think I might be able to see him. Nope, maybe not. So I was at 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, there we go. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's do 14s on this side. Oh, and one short. See if we can even get a 14 out of this. Whoop. 14 and a weird short log. How about it? But yeah, the concept of ghosts is really interesting. I mean, it kind of goes with all things. It's like religion, right? I've never really seen anything to believe that religion exists. Not denying that it's not somehow... I mean, we were talking about quantum physics and entanglement and all that kind of crazy stuff. I mean, maybe in some version of a reality, there's evidential proof of some of the stuff that's going on. I'm not the kind of person, even with ghosts and Bigfoot and supernatural megalodon-y, you know... I mean, Megalodon is not a, I guess isn't really a ghosty thing. Apparently those were legit back in the day. But, you know, there's always just this like, oh, it's possible that that thing that you're talking about might be out there. And then there's some people that are just like, oh, I know it in my heart. And it's like, well, that don't work for me. I need a little bit more. I don't blindly believe anything. I just can't do it. I can't blindly believe anything. And some people can, and power to you, but like, I just can't. I need to be blown away by the fact that it's a reality. I can't have this kind of half-cocked, look inside yourself and you'll know ghosts are real. Look inside yourself, you'll know spirits are real. Look for the signs. I've never had signs. I think I played with a Ouija board one time when I was younger. And I was at a party with some other friends, and I'm pretty sure everybody was just messing with it because you know how you have like 7 people touching it, the Ouija board that is, and you're at a party or something and they're doing the Ouija board thing. It's like, do you really believe all 7 of those people aren't going to try to mess with the other 7 people? Because like I remember putting my fingers on it and I'm like, yeah, you feel force, but it's like obviously being pushed by someone. Like it's not just sliding around on its own. See, now if you did it, and I've never done that because I don't have a Ouija board myself, but if you did a Ouija board on your own and that sucker started moving around on you, that would be something. Then I would be like, all right, something's going on here. But in a group of other people and other people trying to mess with other people and manipulate each other, especially when it's like a group of girls at a party with guys and they're trying to make them all scared, it's pretty clear to see what's going on there. But yeah, I mean, you look at supernatural, these kind of stuff, right? Or even stories like Bigfoot and stuff like that. Like, I love the idea that things like that are out there. The whole I want to believe poster. I do. I would love it. But I haven't seen enough to make it worth the while. Same with ghosts. Ghosts. You know what? I've seen enough stuff in my life and my careers of dealing with humanity to know that if there's ghosts out there, they're far better than some of the things I've seen us people do. Because my God, us humans we do some pretty wild things. But yeah, ghosts, I think it'd be neat. I think it's a neat concept, but again, not enough there. Like I said, I put ghosts right up with religion. Spirits, untold dimensions. But if quantum reality is real, then maybe there's a reality out there where all of that is walking proof. Great giants like the Greek gods and Zeus and all that stuff. And see, I love the idea of it all. You ever watch the cartoon Hercules and you see like, Zeus and Hades and all the underworlds and like the crazy monsters and creatures that they're fighting and all these mythical things. I love it. I think it's cool as all hell. I really get into it. But it falls in the same category to me as, like Star Trek or Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, awesome, cool background, awesome lore. But there's no proof of it because somebody made it up. And I mean, I could get into a pretty hardcore argument about religion right now, but I'm sure people wouldn't like it. I'm not trying to get controversial. I need something more than just someone telling me a story. I need proof. I need something. And I mean, I've been told some wild ghost stories by some friends, wild religious stories by some friends, and wild Bigfoot stories by some friends that swear up and down that they saw what they think they saw. And I'm not trying to crap on other people's experiences, but until I have one myself, which I would be absolutely amazed by, unlike my ET in my closet when I was a kid. You know what? Actually, here you go. Here's a story for you. So when I was young, and this is as close to supernatural as I ever got. So when I was a kid, my parents painted. We had a bedroom with bunk beds, and my parents painted the bunk beds, like painted the frame of the bunk beds, all that stuff, really nice. I think it was red or something like that. Anyway, so they painted it, and they painted it early in the morning, and I was such a little brat and was like, I'm not sleeping on the couch. I'm sleeping in my room, right? And my dad was like, all right, well, it should be good. Like, the paint's not wet anymore. It should be fine or whatever. So anyway, Jordan goes and sleeps in his room, waking up in the middle of the night, and I am seeing things. I am seeing wild stuff, like wild things, man. So, like, I can see, like, freaking bugs everywhere in our house. This was in my childhood growing up house. Everywhere I go, if I go in the kitchen, there's bugs everywhere. I go in the living room, there's spiders everywhere, crawling, freaking out, changing sizes, getting bigger, getting smaller, and I'm freaking out because I'm just this little kid and I don't know what the hell's going on. So, like, I literally grab, what was it? It was a like those barbecue tongs, those metal barbecue tongs. I grabbed a set of those, and I'm like running around the house trying to grab all the bugs and grab all this stuff with these tongs. And there's like this, I remember it's like an iguana or something, or a lizard, this giant lizard, and it was like guarding the living room. Oh man, I was tripping some balls, man. And like I couldn't figure out what was going on. So finally my dad wakes up, and my dad's in the living room, and I can't go in the living room because there's just way too many spiders going on in there. So he wakes up, he must probably hear me clanging around with these friggin' barbecue tongs, so it's probably just like smack, 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 trying to grab things. He comes into the kitchen, and I don't remember any of the details, but he said I was just freaking right out. So finally they all wake up, and they're trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with me, because obviously I'm just tripping balls, and clearly they're not seeing the stuff I was seeing. So yeah, they're probably a little concerned, I imagine, as parents, as I act like a psychopath with these tongs. So my mom finally puts me to bed. She takes me to the back room, like her bedroom, and she brings me in there. And I could not go to sleep until she turned the comforter over. So we had this blanket, this comforter, and it had all these weird like flower shapes and zigzags and lines and stuff on it. And those were just coming right out of the blanket at me and making weird shapes and flashes, and I was just freaking out. So my mom actually had to turn the comforter over, the blanket right over, and the other side of it was completely blank. There was nothing on it, and that was the only way I could calm down enough to actually go to sleep. So thinking back, and I don't know, I've never had the discussion. I need to bring that up with my father the next time I go for dinner and bring it up, because that would be an interesting story to talk to him about. I'm going to try to remember that, and then I'm going to bring that up in an episode in the future where I go back and discuss what happened there. Yeah, just freaking wild, man. So, like I said, I never heard the full story of it, but I'm assuming what happened was I slept in the room of freshly painted stuff, and back then the chemicals in the paint, it wasn't like the nice latex paints that we have now. It was all the crazy oil, heavy, like parathane type paints that they had back then. So my guess is the fumes were still packed up pretty heavily in that room, and my parents were probably just like, oh, it's fine, he'll be fine, and I probably just got a big dose of ball tripping from the fumes in those paints. But yeah, it was a wild experience, man. And I can remember some of it to this day, but not all of it. But I definitely remember some of it. I'm going to keep cutting here because we actually did a really good job on that. It was neat. So that's probably the closest I would say I've ever been to anything related to supernatural feelings, because damn, that was wild. 10 out of 10 would not do that again. I wonder what the actual effects. I bet you I've never looked into it, but I imagine if you Googled the effects of like paint from back then, it was probably some kind of like sketchy lead paint or something that my dad had stored in a shed or something too. It probably explains the way I am today. That's why I'm so good at modding. Because I was exposed to heavy metals and paint at a young age. I'm like Spider-Man, yo. I'm just gonna kind of cut out a spot here. So far, this buncher's been pretty good. Once in a while, if I'm just like I was doing earlier, where I really was kind of trying to tell a story and not really pay attention, it kind of gets a little crafty on me sometimes, where it wants to drop trees. But I mean, right now, I'm kind of paying attention and scrapping them pretty good. So as long as you don't, it's just like real life. As long as you don't operate like an idiot, things will actually work out pretty good usually. Surprise, surprise, eh? And I'm just going to kind of keep working up the hill, and what my plan is I'm just going to chase my decks with the loader all the way out here. We'll just kind of work our way up the hill. That's kind of my plan. Yeah, and maybe, I'm not going to make any promises because I change things so often, but maybe one of these nights after this episode, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do live streams, and then what I can do is after the video has live streamed, I can actually publish it later. So what I'll do is I will maybe try to see if I can do live streams with these, because then I can kind of talk to you guys too, even though they're like such random times. It'll be like on a Tuesday at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night after work, and you guys will be like, why is he on right now? And I'll be like, I don't know, man, but this is what's happening. But then if you guys happen to be on, you guys can be part of the conversation, and then you guys can suggest topics while we're live and talk about stuff, and you guys can tell me stories and I can relate to it. That makes it so much more fun for me. I don't mind talking to myself alone in my room here for, you know, 30 minutes at a time. But eventually it's kind of, you know, you need some feedback to work off of. I need a crowd to work off of so I can, you know, get some feedback about subjects and stuff. It's better than seeing your guys' comments 3 or 4 months from filming this and being like, oh yeah, I should have done that. Or, oh yeah, what's that? What is he talking about? But, yeah, I don't know. Ghost stories, right? Come on. You guys must have some ghost stories. Tell me some creepy stuff. I love a good ghost story. Even if it's not a ghost story, you know, like I talked about when I tripped balls on paint thinner, I guess, or whatever the paint, freshly painted stuff. Or E.T. being in my closet. I have a friend that has like sleep paralysis occasionally. Like, I guess you see like sleep paralysis demons. That shit is crazy. He's told me some stories and I'm like, man, I really don't want that. I've definitely had those moments of feeling like I have like you're in a dream and you're awake kind of, but you're not awake and you can't really get out of it and you want to kind of wake up from it. I think that's due to like a sleep apnea type thing or something, but yeah, my one buddy, he's like, oh yeah, I have like these paralyzing night terror type dreams where there's a shadow figure standing in the corner of the room and he's staring at me and he's really spooky looking and I can't do anything about it and all I can do is lay there and I can't move, and I'm like, that shit's crazy. Like, what are you doing to make that happen? Like, is that stress? Is that fear? What the hell causes that? Whatever it is, I don't want it. So, you know, stay in school. Don't do drugs, kids. I've got a few buddies that have tried some pretty heavy drugs, and not my forte. I got convinced to do mushrooms one time. That was it, man. Just one time. It was a very long, bad experience. Since Jordan has a very slow metabolism, it didn't work out well for me. And just because they're not working does not mean you should take more. Don't worry, they'll catch up. Anyway, I'll save that story for another time once. You guys can ask me if we ever go to live stream. Tell us about the time you did mushrooms. And your friend said, don't worry, this is totally going to be super fun. You'll love it. Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure was, wasn't it? But yeah, always good times. Always the goodest of times. But yeah, tell me some ghost stories, guys. What do you got? Give me your dirtiest ghost stories. Well, you know what I mean. Your most interesting ghost stories. Don't tell me your dirty ghost stories. I don't want to know that. You save that one for your therapist or whatever. The dirty ones. After I drop this part, I'm actually going to paint this road out a little bit. So as you can see, I'm building pretty large decks of trees here. I'm basically looking at it and going like, okay, how much will fit on almost a logging truck? Because that load right there probably will fit on a logging truck. That one might fit on a logging truck. So let's paint this here. Oh, I didn't leave myself like any room on this side to process, so that was stupid. I'll have to go back and cut that. We need to go to painting. And I kind of just want to make these rough roads now. I was talking about this earlier where I don't really want to make it completely like a road. I just kind of want to make this kind of gnarly, partial grass, partial kind of road, but not really. I just think it looks better to have a little bit of mixture on there as opposed to just this clean, perfect, ugly mud ground. Except for around the decks, I might clean these up a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to have to go back and... Because I forgot I'm doing long logs. So maybe what I'll do is I'll go back and cut these the other way. Like on the downslope. And we'll work our way back. Yeah, and then we'll just kind of do like a banana split here with the trees. And lay them in both directions. Oh, this is me in reverse. And we'll just snipe these guys. And we're going to lay them a little bit further out, like almost over here, I think. That should technically give us enough room to process both piles. And what we might have to do is process one going up, load, and then come back and process again on the way down. That's probably the best way. Because if not, our... well, depending how we lay our trees, our two decks might collide here. So that deck will lay pretty much perfectly in there. This deck would cut across and lay... I mean, you're getting pretty zigzaggy with your loads. But I could always come up here with the loader and resort them into nicer piles, too. We have unlimited options, really, when it comes to this stuff. Just depends how much work you want to do. And maybe when we're live streaming, I'll be able to do that. So we're going to keep adding to this deck here. This bunch that is becoming a deck. And watch out for ghost trees. Oh, you sniped that one. They still disappear occasionally, especially when you're going like at weird angles and stuff. Yeah, downhill's always bad. There's no perfect way. We're really, like I said, we're really using a script here that we're not supposed to be for what we're doing, so pretty easy to mess that up. And I'm just going to keep kind of gnarling into the tree line here. Let's go here. See if we can try to avoid making them all disappear. And where's a good spot? There really isn't one, so we're just gonna throw in here. Sometimes it's not a very clear area, so you just kind of gotta drop them where you can and do your best. Do your absolute best. So like I said, throw some ghost stories at me, man. I want them. Deliver me some really good ghost stories. And they have to be your ghost stories that are absolutely true. Make me a believer. That'd actually be fun for the live stream. I should bring up ghost stories again for a live stream. Oh, man, I'm really just making them disappear here. I mean, that's one less stupid little tree I gotta deal with. I guess I could look at it like that. See here. Yeah, all right. I'm just gonna finish this little strip so that we're kind of got a nice start for our next episode when we come back, or our next live stream maybe. Oh man, we're just really wasting those trees. I thought I had that down pat pretty good, but maybe it's a downward angle. I didn't really do a lot of downward testing, I suppose. We're not really that downward of an angle though. We're kind of like pretty good, I think. I'm gonna lay these ones right here. And we're just gonna clean this whole little patch out. Shwink. The only other attachment or thing you can do is like a tree saw type script, but the problem is it's not an instant cut. You have to wait. I can't make it cut like this one does, like just zings it out. So I think you'll just either have to deal with the odd tree going missing. But you know me, I'll just keep playing with stuff and seeing what I can do to make it better. I'm just gonna waste this tree because it's she's kind of messed up as it is. Whatever. Oops. I'm surprised I didn't nick that tree. I didn't Steve it or nick it. Alright, let's call that good there. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this guy back up the road. Back up the road we go. But yeah, maybe I'll leave it at that for you guys while I drive this out for the rest of the episode. Yeah, if you guys have any good ghost stories, leave them in the channel. I'm going to try to do live streams. Again, I don't want to promise I'm 100% because, I don't know, sometimes my moods are just moody. So, and after a long day, sometimes I'm not super chatty. But I will try my best to see what I can do. And maybe we'll do a few live streams, a few solo episodes, a few live streams, mix it up a little bit. This is what we are, man. We're FDR, we're logging. Let's talk about stuff. All right, guys, we'll leave it at that. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.